So welcome back everybody. In today's video, we're going to answer some questions, particularly if you're equipment shopping and most importantly, tractor shopping. I'm going to let you know, are tractor manufacturers being honest with lift capacities? A lot of people purchase a machine seeing rated capacities front and rear, only to realize it doesn't lift what they thought. And the truth of the matter is because you didn't do your homework or read the actual specifications on these capacities. So let's go over some of that today to make for sure that you're getting the machine that you need. Because again, a lot of people look at, say, a loader lift capacity and know that, hey, I'm going to be taking a certain amount of pallets out of my truck, or this, that, and the other, or there's certain types of use I have in mind for this. Get the machine and realize it is not lifting what it says, and there's a lot of reasons why. So let's go over that. All right, for the test subject today, y'all, we're going to be using my Solis H24 Plus, and the reason I really want to use this tractor is I just got my hands on it. I ran the previous model to this for over a year, and they just increased the loader lift capacity by 50%, from a little over 900 pounds to over 1,400 pounds. Or so they claim. We're going to test that today. That is a tremendous amount of lifting capacity on a tractor that weighs around 2,800 pounds and around 3,100 pounds with the loader. Literally lifting almost half of its weight. That's wild. All right, here's how we're going to test this. I just bought me a big several thousand pound digital scale. I've kind of wanted one of these forever. Now seems like a good time to get it, because not only are we going to test the lift capacity on this tractor today, coming up in the future, we're going to test capacities on my excavator, my other tractor, and I want to see forces, breakout forces, actual holding down abilities of construction equipment and all kinds of stuff. I have a lot of stuff planned, and there's always things that I want to know. How much does it truly weigh? For example, look at the size of this massive log. I don't have a clue what it weighs, and I really don't even know if this little tractor can pick it up. Look at the size of this compared to that. I may be asking a bit much, but I got a smaller one over there that's still extremely heavy. Okay, back to today's topics. Y'all, this is where I want to let you know how you're probably making a mistake. No matter what tractor manufacturer you look at, when you see front loader lifting capacities, almost every tractor manufacturer rates from the pivot pins. This is your front pivot pin right here. And there's a reason why they rate from this particular area. On the back side, most tractor manufacturers rate from the back of the 3-point hitch right here, or the 3-point lower arms for your lift capacity. So let's have a discussion. Often you'll see tractor manufacturers also give you 12-inch setbacks, 24-inch setbacks. On the front, this is what you really need to keep in mind. The further out that you go, so if we put, say, tractor forks on here and they stick all the way out here, the further out that you lift, you've just added that much leverage against the tractor, not helping it. The further back we go toward the lift cylinders, the more you can lift. The further out that you go, the more leverage that you have working against the tractor. So the reason tractor manufacturers rate from the pivot pins is because there is such a wide variety of attachments that you can put on the front. Some are really long, really working against the tractor. You're getting weight too far out away from the tractor. Some are really short, keeping the weight close to the pivot pins, getting you higher lift capacity. Some attachments weigh a tremendous amount. The weight of the attachment takes away from the lifting ability of the front end loader. So while it may seem odd to rate from the pivot pins where you're technically not going to lift because I don't have any attachments on here, they do that because it's a good starting focal point, and they can't determine what all types of attachments you're going to put on the front. Just know the attachment weight is going to reduce lifting capacity and the distance out that you go. This is where a lot of people get in trouble. They'll get a tractor like this, for example, that says it can lift 1,400 pounds. Put a set of forks on there that maybe weighs 100-something, 200 pounds. That takes away from your lift capacity. And then go grab a 1,400 pound pallet out of the back of a truck, and you've got weight that may be 4 feet out in front of these pivot pins. Well, you can't lift 1,400 pounds whenever you factor all that in. That's something you got to keep in mind. That's why it's best to get something rated higher than it is. And you're going to see a little tractor like this right here has one of the highest lifting capacities for a subcompact tractor. That's very important. Get a lot more work done, and you're a lot less disappointed. There's something else we need to discuss. The higher up you lift, the less lifting ability and capacity that you have as well. This is where you can get really messed up by certain manufacturers. This is how they hide some stuff. They'll give you lifting capacity maybe an inch or two off the ground as soon as you start breaking out and lifting right there. Where have you got your highest lifting capacity? Well, most people are needing to lift a little further than this. What if you're lifting 3 feet out of the back of a truck? You've already got to raise your loader up that far. Then what's your lifting capacity at that point? There's a lot of factors you got to determine here when you're shopping for a piece of equipment. Now, the good news is for this tractor, they do something I've not seen many manufacturers do. That capacity rating I just gave you of 1,400 pounds, the brochure says that's at max lifting height. That's awesome, because my John Deere, for example, gives me a lift height at 12 inches. Again, 18, 24 inches. There's kind of steps, and you see it lifts less and less the further up it goes. So pay attention to all that when you're tractor shopping. All right, so this was actually a requested video. Lift capacity on this tractor. Let's see if it stacks up. I'll be honest with you. If it doesn't do what they claim, it doesn't. If it does, great. If it does more, that would be awesome. So I've bought a scale. Let's test it out. Out of genuine curiosity, what the heck does this log weigh? Y'all, it's probably 12 feet long. It's an oak log. Now, it's been cut down a while, but it's still very, very solid in the middle. I mean, green, really. I've been cutting up some of these. Are still 40-something% moisture. I really don't know that we can lift this. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna throw a chain right over this section because we wanna lift at the pivot pins. That's the figure that we're giving you today. And we're gonna have to lift way up, which technically reduces some lifting capacity, but because they've already rated theirs at maximum lift, let's see. Because we gotta lift so high so we can hang our scale down and then wrap some chains around this and see if we can get it lifted. If we can't lift this, we'll at least see what the scale says. We'll move over to another one, and I pulled out a 500-gallon steel propane tank. These are quite heavy. I've always been curious what they weigh. I'm guessing 900 to 1,000 pounds. We're gonna have to lift way above this. Again, this could be hard to lift because it may swing back into the tractor because we gotta go so high because of the scale hanging down. But let's find out. I've got big telephone poles on the ground with thousands of pounds of logs on the end. We'll probably just dig underneath, wrap a chain around it, put the scale right there, and lift. There's no way on earth this tractor is gonna lift all this up. So this is a good solid point, and we can see maximum rating, maximum lift force on the scale right here, and that should tell us what this loader is capable of. All right, while I'm still hooking up, oak log, 12 foot long, 24 inches on the other end, maybe close to 36 inches across this end. Take a guess at it. 40-something% moisture, been cut down a little while. This is also a good time to mention, y'all, I try to give as much advice and tips as I can. When you're lifting really heavy things on the front side of your tractor, that puts a tremendous amount of strain and weight on the front axles, the seals, the bearings, everything. Because now you're making the front axle the pivot point of the tractor. You always want to have a good counterbalance, heavy weight, something on the rear to put more weight on the rear tires, taking more weight and strain off that front smaller axle. Luckily for this tractor, they already beefed the front axle up, but you still want to save the wear and tear on your equipment. This is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this. I hope I can lift high enough. Just the problem with all these chains and the scale, I may not be able to lift high enough. And I'm going to want to rev the tractor up to get my hydraulic pump to maximum flow. Let's see what happens. Holy smokes! It's so close to lifting. But I got some good news. I can lock this in. Check that out, y'all. Look, I barely got it lifted. It's absolutely lifted up. I can move it by hand. Check this out. £1,558 pounds. Nice. All right, I can see I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this. So I've got a remote for my scale and I'm able to lock it in so I can shut things down and show you like this. Now, sadly, like you just seen, because this is a digital scale, it's not matching up to the frame rate of the camera, but you can see 1,558 pounds is what I'm locked into. And y'all, I couldn't have picked a more perfect test. I was absolutely maxed out on the tractor, and this only come up by that much. That's all the tractor could do, and it just so happens this was the perfect test subject. I did not plan that, and I have not been out here testing things before I even started recording. I just nailed it on the first test. So y'all, look at this. Not only were we lifted, what, 5 to 6 feet in the air, which takes away from lifting capacity, but we just lifted 1,558 pounds on a tractor that weighs 3,100 pounds with a loader. That is insane. I don't think people understand how impressive that is. I love this new tractor. This lifts so much more than the previous model I had, even though they're almost identical. Like I said, they reworked the front end, they reworked the loader. I don't know if they did the hydraulics or not, but this thing lifts a lot more. And here's the beautiful thing. 1,411 pound rated lift capacity. We just blew that out of the water. 1,558 pounds. That's wild. All right, hopefully y'all don't go back and change your answers. Anybody guess around 1,500 pounds for this log? I should have guessed. I was thinking 1,800 to 2,000. That probably makes more sense if this was green and absolutely wet. Now that it's had months and months and months to dry out, it's still a really heavy log at 1,558 pounds. Maybe just slightly less because we did lift it, but we were very close to not lifting. What a cool test. Awesome. Well, I knew the tractor was strong. It's been impressing me, but I wasn't expecting it to be that much over spec. That's awesome. All right, so let's lift this propane tank. I mean, honestly, y'all, this isn't gonna be a problem for the tractor because I know this weighs less than that. I'm doing this out of sheer curiosity of what does this weigh? Because I've kind of taken a wild guess at it in the past. Problem is, I've got to lift so high, I don't think I can lift that high with this small of a tractor. All right, you can see we're zeroed out. Oh, I might have been a good guess. 990 pounds, let me lock it in. Absolutely no issues for this tractor to lift that. And my guess was pretty good. I said 900 to 1,000 pounds. 991 pounds. Man, I don't know what it is. I'm a kid. I love data and I love things like this. I can foresee myself having a lot of fun with this because I'm always genuinely curious, like, you know, what's that firewood tote weigh? But I can already tell I can't lift up high enough over the tote to hook this up, lift up and not crash into the front of the tractor. So whenever we split our next really green firewood tote, I'll be doing some splitting here coming up next week. We'll take the big tractor. We'll do this in another episode. And I want to see what Heart of Oak split pretty green, like a full stack tote weighs. My guess is 1,750 pounds. All right, on to the max lift capacity test. This is as low as I can get, so it could potentially be even higher than this as far as just lift off the ground capacity. And my feeling is we're not gonna get much more than that 1,558 pounds the log was, because I could tell this was just about maxed out. Already crazy impressive though, because we're well above what this is rated for. But this should be absolute max right here. Well, apparently that's not a solid telephone pole. Bummer. All right, let's try this again. I think this is a solid pole, but I still may lift it up a lot. Y'all, that's pretty impressive. So I didn't lock it in at the highest amount, but I locked it in when it just leveled out. Yeah, I seen 1,650 pounds on there, but it smoothed out at 1,640. Man, I hope y'all can see that. Yeah, 1,640, and I was able to lock it in right there. Everybody listen here, 1,640 pounds of lift capacity on a subcompact tractor is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. This tractor has blown me away, no lie. Now, full disclosure, I get to run this tractor thanks to Solis on the property. They do not pay me if you go and buy one. I have no idea if you go buy one unless you tell me. A lot of y'all have went and bought them. Email me, told me, great. I don't get no commissions. I don't know what dealer you go to, nothing. I am just having fun with this. I really, really am. All right, here is my grapple. So I would like to get this weighed because a good friend of mine bought my last tractor and he is looking into getting a grapple for his Solis. And he's been curious about what this weighs, and I really don't know. And that's because the lighter that you can keep the grapple, the more that you can lift. Now, there is a little bit of a side effect to that. The lighter weight you build a grapple, well, the lighter weight that it's built. So trust me, I totally understand the fact that you probably want to get something as robust as you can, but at the same time, you don't want to take away from your lifting capacities. So I've been wanting to weigh this for him, and I want to run a quick test before we wrap this video up. We just seen that I lift a 1,500 pound log. So what happens when I put the grapple on that we're about to find out how much it weighs, deduct the weight, plus we're shifting the log quite a bit further in front of the lifting pin that I showed you, the pivot pin. I'm expecting we can go right back down to that same log, and we absolutely cannot lift it because we were so close to maxing out. The only benefit we're gonna have now is we're not lifting from way up high. We're going down really low, grabbing underneath, which is going to give us a net gain. Will it be enough to offset the weight of this and moving stuff forward? My gut says no. Let's find out. All right, let's try this again. I'm not quite in the center, but I think I can get it all the way off the ground right here. 316, 320 pounds. And lock it in. All right, way off. I mean, I guess there's a lot of steel in there, but they try to build these things lightweight enough that you don't lose all your lifting capacity, but beefy enough that you don't just bend them right up. So 320 pounds. Good information to know. All right, for my last test, so we don't make this video too long, one that I'm already telling you up front, I do not think I'm gonna be successful in. An additional 300 pound grapple, picking up an over 1,500 pound log, and shifting it out in front of the pivot pins. I don't think there's any way we can lift this. Let's try it for the fun of it. Impressive to say the least. Y'all, it is just barely touching either side. I could probably go pick it up by hand. It is just about there. It's so close. But you're talking 1,800 and something pounds here shifted out in front of the tractor. A tractor this size is not meant to lift that, but extremely impressive anyways. I'm gonna see if I can move this log back where it needs to go and go grab this one over here, which is still extremely heavy. Let's see what we can do and wrap this thing up. This side up. No, it's up. It's up. But it's drifting back down. Too much weight. I did get it up an inch. Okay, so time to wrap this video up. This was a fun little test. Like I said, I've been wanting to do some stuff like this for a while, and we're gonna do a lot more in the future. So if there's other equipment you wanna see me test lift capacities on, or different types of materials, things like that, if there's more tests you wanna see with the little Solis tractor, by all means, drop me a comment, let me know. I have a blast making this type of content, and I have a feeling y'all like watching this type of data-driven, goofing around type of stuff as well. All right, y'all, like I said, this was a requested video. Please drop me a comment if there's anything else you want to see. If you want any information on this tractor from the dealer network to the rest of the capacities on it and all, I'll put a link down in the description. Go to Solis's website and check it out. On that note, we'll catch you on the next one. Appreciate y'all watching.